This episode is supported by Battlefilm.com.
Well, we're giving away one dragon.
Yeah.
We have a Joan of Arc Dragon. Sorry if I woke you up, by the way. We have a Joan of Arc Dragon that you could win by commenting on this episode.
If the trailer didn't wake you up, all right, you were not going to surprise anybody. Whenever I saw that trailer, I literally had hair standing on end. Like, I was properly excited.
Yeah.
The way the battlefield turns into the game, the way the castle came together, the way the dragon swooped in, I'm so excited for Joan of Arc.
For me, it was the dragon swooping in with the gaming board burning behind it.
I'm still thinking about what metaphorical hairs might do. But anyway, it is fast. My favourite bit has got to be the boogie and skeletons, man.
Oh, they did a little dance.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
That cracks me up because that is historical fact.
Historical fact.
That is historical fact. Don't get me started on historical fact. I have the most amazing historical fact for you tomorrow on XLBS.
Is this a mind melter?
I'm doing a Justin's Mind Melter tomorrow morning. Join us because I have the ultimate
Bring it, I'm ready.
fact. You think
I'm
you're
ready.
I'm about to blow your mind, man.
Good luck.
Anyway, in medieval times, when they drew
The restaurant where you go and
photographs
see the
of
jousting
skeletons and stuff like that, the skeletons were always depicted as dancing. And this was something that the skeletons did. So when I saw that bit in the trailer, I just went, oh, that is awesome. Because that is exactly what skeletons did in the medieval times. They boogied. It's just, oh, yes, love it. So we are giving away an amazing dragon model.
Yes.
Because on the 10th, Joan of Arc comes to Kickstarter.
And it's already topping all the hotness charts on Board Game Geek. It's already huge on Facebook.
Well,
it's blowing up.
I actually have the good fortune this weekend. I got to sit down with Leo while he was in the studio to actually have a chat about what they're planning to do. So
Perfect.
that'll be coming later in the show.
Right, so we're going to have Leo on the show. Can I just say, this is a game you have to make the time to go and have a look at. The component quality in this game is astonishing. The game itself has just so many layers of tactical depth. Our game has now went out. Justin has now officially beat me on camera.
Hey!
And so it begins.
So we got to play a head-to-head game of it in its kind of battle mode.
Historical version.
Well, you say historical.
With like the mythic aspects.
Yeah, but this is what it's going to start looking like as a mass battle game when you start scaling it up, and this game has the potential for it. But you'll see the tactical nuances of it and how I don't want to give it. Well, I gave it away. He beat me, but there was I made a single strategic mistake. And I paid for it with my life.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 days mulling over the different strategic choices that I could have made. And I just was so engrossed and enveloped by that game.
But that's the key. You never feel with Joan of Arc like you're stuck. You have multiple choices. You always have multiple things to do. And you're able, that shows the depth of the game. You're able to go back and say, if I'd done this differently, how would that have affected it?
Yeah.
The very simplicity of the historical units with the special abilities they have, especially with like the longbowmen and how they can lay down traps, the cavalry and just how decimating cavalry are. It just really it translates the impact of how terrifying a cavalry charge was perfectly on the board.
Yeah, well, with Leo and Benoit over this week, I actually have 2 more battle scenarios in the can. Another narrative one and another sort of historical one, so you'll have to keep your eyes open for those.
Yeah, over the course of the Kickstarter, we will be chucking lots of stuff out. So I don't think, if you're on the fence about this, why are you on the fence? But we'll have plenty more. If you need to see more, we'll have plenty more coming your way.
Oh, just the attention to detail that has been went into in this game is just blown my mind.
But even the level of quality they put into that trailer for their Kickstarter is just mind-blowing.
The real Toy Story feeling of like, when I know you and I were both watching it, when the little minis themselves came alive and started running across the battlefield, I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I now want that as an RTS.
Yeah, there was a real inner child moment there.
Right, later in the show we're going to have Leo on to talk a bit more about Joan of Arc and to be in with a chance of winning a dragon, a massive, like half-meter
Wingspan's
dragon.
ridiculous.
Leave a comment on the show here on beastsofwar.com or on YouTube, and we'll be in there replying to your comments. So don't just pick me. We'll be right back. Yes, we have just trailered you 2 times in one episode. The annual awards is launching next week.
Yep.
We have all the nominations have been in. We have our finalists. We are now in the process of reaching out to those finalists to let them know that they are in the final listings, and all of the graphics and everything and now is all being produced. So next week, stay tuned, and we will be putting up the voting.
Can I be really cheeky and announce an early winner? Because you and I both know there's an early winner.
There is?
There is an early winner from the hobby accessory
category.
Yes.
There is an early winner.
Oh, it has to be.
Now we let you guys vote for anything you wanted, and it meant there was things that we had never thought of.
Yes.
Like there was considerations and examples in there that I just was blown away by, and one in particular.
It's an incredible learning experience. The annual awards, it really is. So for best hobby accessory.
Okay, early announced winner.
Early announced winner. Okay, it was in the nominations. It only got a single vote, but as soon as we saw it, we realized
it was a winner.
One vote. This thing should have won every category.
Okay.
A massive thank you for whoever nominated the
B&Q. What is it called? Tape measure.
Thank you for that. a single nomination for for the B&Q tape measure.
And it was funny because we have so many tape measures in the studio. So many studios, the tape measure. And so many tape measures in the studio. I was like, do we have any from B&Q? Are they branded B&Q? And I was looking through them all going, I don't know if we do. We might have to record a vlog of us going and getting one and doing it properly.
We actually do.
We have a big bag of B&Q tape measures, so it's awesome, dude. That was a priceless nomination. Thank you for that. Yeah, so stay tuned next week. We're now gearing up. So the final voting is taking place. You will have, there's 13 categories. You guys will be able to go in and vote across the categories, and then leave a little optional email address, and we'll be picking a winner at random who's going to win a mega prize. Okay.
Is it a mystery mega prize?
It's a mystery mega prize. It might be a big massive gaming voucher of money. So it's a mystery mega prize. The reason we don't mention prize is because we don't want to influence voting. Just get in, vote for your winner. And then we're going to have Winners Night very, very soon. And we're thinking of possibly doing it live.
Are we getting out the tuxedos again?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
It's a proper awards ceremony. It needs tuxedos.
Yeah, and the cheap plonk. Don't forget the cheap plonk. Hopefully it's better than last year's.
No, it's worse than last
year.
Oh,
God.
Man. It's worse than
How
last
could it
year.
be worse?
Because these are hard times, man. You know? These are hard times, you know? It's even cheaper plonk than we've ever plonked.
Are we going to
before.
get a new entertainment in, a new entertainer to come on stage? Because I saw some of the entertainment from last year's show and it left me hollow inside.
What, you didn't think the puppet show was any good?
Was that last year or the year before?
If we can put a link back to that, I feel like it's one of maybe the most missed best Beast of War moments ever. Puppet Sam and
ventriloquist Justin.
Yeah,
it was.
Sam always said you had a hand in that, so.
And we did see John's interpretive dance.
Oh, John's interpretive dance.
Oh,
yes.
It was fun.
You know, this we don't cheap on this awards, other than the cheap plonk. Like only the best for the viewers of the annual awards. Okay, right. So stay tuned. Big stuff happening. Annual awards. This is our time of year now that we've started to zone into.
Although I do love the fact that I see companies who won from our first awards, they still put their reward on the show stand.
As they should.
As they should.
Yeah.
As they should. Right, a couple of other quick things to mention. Stay tuned because a bit later on, we have guys in from Steamforged to talk Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, we do indeed. So stay around for the Kickstarter because we'll be having a chat about how their Kickstarter has been going and what some of the stretch goals that they are still yet to even put onto the Kickstarter page. So they've exceeded all the stretch goals that they initially put on there, and they've now got more they're going to release, and later at the end of this show in the Kickstarter section, we will have what those future stretch goals are going to be. So it's first exclusive here, not seen anywhere else. If anyone is a big Resident Evil 2 fan, they've paid great homage to every part of that game later in the show.
Okay. Another quick announcement is that for you guys who were watching the Fabled Realms Kickstarter from Foreground, the late pledges. So there's a late pledging system. Where you can hop in on that on BackerKit. I think we have a link to that or something, don't we?
Here we go.
So you can hop onto BackerKit on that and make a late pledge, and it's closing at 12 p.m. midnight GMT on Sunday, the 8th of October. So if we scroll down, they can see some of the stuff that's available that you can back on Fabled Realms.
Oh, the wee wagons are very cool.
Oh, I've been hearing mentions of first plastics and things starting to make an appearance. So definitely, it's a really interesting game. I think we have a couple of gameplay videos and stuff like that we can link to. So
I do believe we should do. So we'll link those in the show notes below.
Yeah, check out the show notes. One last one is last week we showed off Empire of Men from Archon. And we were able to actually get a hold of a couple of the minis.
Yes, we were.
To see them. So we just we thought we'll take a couple of moments to show you. So
yeah, these are absolutely stunning. So yeah, let me go through them one at a time. So just in case you haven't been following the campaign too closely, this is the Great Empire Stormtrooper. We set him up there. We've also got an Echelon of Dominion Skirmisher. Bring her in there. So the reason there's such a big difference, this is a 28mm heroic scale game. The reason there's such a big difference between these two minis in size is the Echelon of Dominion, these are kind of like your augmented super troopers. So even this kind of feminine model is really quite tall compared to the Great Empire, who are all about their gas masks, the kind of trench coats, their big weaponry. So he's got huge blaster, and these guys are all about their firepower. She? Oh, yeah?
Female miniature.
Oh, well then I've got a third, and I'm going to mispronounce this, so do not mark me too much, but this is a Thaumaturge, which is essentially like your miracle maker, your magician. This is going to represent some of the kind of sci-fi elements that you're going to get from this kind of future World War I game set in like 2150. And the minis for these are just absolutely stunning. Now, this campaign only has, I think, 2 days left at this point.
Yeah, it's very close now.
So I've been won over quite a lot by the minis. I do like the sculpts.
The cloak on this one has just really, really impressed me. The sculpting on the cloak on that is just fabulous.
Lovely.
Now, it's a range at the moment.
Yeah.
We're not 100% sure if it's going to be a game yet. We'll have to wait and see. And we reckon, I'm kind of like 90%, 99% sure that it's we know they're multi-part because we had to assemble them, and the final thing is resin, because I don't think Archon do PVC. It's not in their range of stuff that they typically do. So multi-part resin miniatures, and as far as we're aware, what we're looking at are basically exactly what you would get.
Finished product?
Yeah, finished product. If we're wrong on that, we will be sure to let you know, and we'll put that in. But as far as we're aware, this is effectively the kind of like the finished result, and the casting is crisp. The sculpts are great. Okay, right. We'll give us 2 seconds. We'll tell you about some hubs, and then it'll be time to find out what's going on in the world.
Become a general of mighty armies at the Kings of War Hub. Take command of elves, dwarves, and orcs in this game of massed fantasy combat on beastsofwar.com. The new Flames of War 4th edition brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to beastsofwar.com to get the latest in news, tactics, and tutorials.
Okay, Ben, fill me in. Yes.
First part of the show, Ben.
Fill me in, please, Ben, properly. Give me a proper filling in, mate. I want to know what's going on in the world.
Okay, so your first little bit of filling comes from the guys at Modiphius, and this is them showing off the pre-orders for a hell of a lot of stuff when it comes to Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Now, they've launched all the pre-orders for their 2-player starter set, which has come out, which enables 2 people to get stuck into the game, play through some of their campaign narrative stuff, do a little bit of PvP, and it gives you a taster for some of the different miniatures that are out there from the different factions as well. The other thing they've also been showing off is some of the core sets for the different factions of the game. So you've got a range of different ones, including survivors. There's also some mutants thrown into the mix as well, including some robots too. So anything that you're familiar with when it comes to Fallout 3, you'll probably see here coming to life in miniature form, which is pretty awesome. As I was saying before, the game is set for sort of experience with a whole bunch of different player ranges, but importantly, it crosses a whole bunch of different sort of styles too. So you've got the campaign thing, as I said there before, as well as a narrative aspect. There's also cooperative things going on at the same time, so you can play against the game itself, which I thought was really cool. However you do the game, you'll actually have the ability to sort of grow and change your crew as things progress. So there's actually some sort of inbuilt sort of upgrading and things going into the mix, all done through what's called the caps system. So anybody who's familiar with Fallout 3 will know about caps and what they are. It's the sort of form of money and currency in the game world, and so this is where you come when it comes to this game, and sort of building and increasing your characters and sort of their repertoire of guns and things as well. So
I'd be really curious to see if they actually incorporate the map into that, if they're going to have some kind of ongoing campaign system where you can move and conquer different areas of the map. Because having caps and building your warband and sort of increasing them is a really cool aspect, but actually a big part of the Fallout world are the maps you play on, because usually the areas and terrain and stuff you fight around are super detailed. There's things like the capital, which are really big kind of points to that game as well. So I would love to see not just expansion of your crew, but also expansion around the map.
Yeah, as you grow your territory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, territory war.
There is talk in this of building settlements. So some of the notes are mentioning that. Also, you're seeing some of the, I believe the guys have partnered up with Battle Systems to do some of the terrain. I think we saw it in the last image there.
What's that Battle Systems terrain?
I think that's a Battle Systems piece. Yeah, I remember I saw this at Gen Con when we were over. So the actual red rocket piece there is some resin, and the rest of it is card, which I believe is from Battle Systems. I know they're partnering up on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they've done the card training there, as Justin was saying, but also you can buy some supplementary resin pieces as well that go with this, and for the sort of wide range as a whole. So if you want things like junk card pieces and things like that, you can go and check them over on their web store as well.
I wonder how I wonder if that'll support a super mutant standing on top of it. I hope it's like for a behemoth.
Oh no, the battle system stuff is rock solid because it's designed for gaming.
Yeah,
it is rock solid. I cannot believe, because I was looking at that thinking that whole thing was like a resin piece.
No.
So whenever you start mentioning battle systems, I was going, I wonder if we've seen any of that. That's incredible. Can we bring that up just once more, just for me to have a quick look at? That's just nuts.
It's nice, isn't it?
Now, why the significance of that is because that is a battle systems piece. That will come already pre-colored.
Exactly.
So you just
ready for the table.
You basically just fit that together. Maybe ink the edges, and you're ready to go.
You need to paint the actual couple of resin bits that are in that.
Like the petrol pumps.
And the red rocket itself, because I know that's a resin piece.
Isn't that Thunderbird 3, isn't it?
It's just, that is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Both myself and John are going to be keeping a close eye on this one.
Yeah.
We both love playing the video game Fallout 4. John's wanting to grab the Brotherhood of Steel. Having guys running around the battlefield in full power armor is great. Me, I want to go for the Settlers because I enjoy playing as the Minutemen in the actual game.
See, interestingly, I would be Settlers as well and the Minutemen when I think about playing the game, but actually on tabletop, I think I'd like to be the Super Mutants and just be about hello, you just
crash your man.
Just something a bit more out of my normal character for this, because I think they look fantastic.
Yeah, although they do have some of the characters sculpted or at least 3D rendered for the main characters from Fallout 4. So you've got Piper, you've got Kate in there, you've got Preston, and you've got Nate in there as well. You're a fan of Piper?
No, not a fan of Piper.
What? Really?
Piper's the press, the newspaper.
Yeah, and Kate's the Irish one.
Yeah, don't like her.
I'm going to play the guy who hasn't a clue about any of this, because I left video gaming to go into tabletop gaming to get away from video gaming.
And now it's coming to you, and now you can't get away from it.
And now all these IPs that I have avoided, like Resident Evil, Fallout,
Civilization.
Halo was there whenever I was still video gaming. So I know Resident Evil was there. It just wasn't one of the ones I spent much time on.
I'm guessing you don't like horror games?
It's all right. I could take it or leave it. You know, it's but I left all that behind, and now I'm finding myself going, I haven't a clue about these IPs. You know, so you're mentioning all these things, and I know that so many people out there who have never played a tabletop game will now have a better understanding of that than somebody who just loves tabletop games. I was like going,
I think John has nearly 250 plus hours sunk into Fallout 4.
Yeah, it's easily done. Easily done.
That's incredible.
When are we getting the Skyrim miniatures game?
John brought in a Pip-Boy, a life-size actual
He got the collector's edition
that you can stick on your arm, which I thought was kind of cool. I didn't understand what the hell it was, but I looked at it and went, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I'd wear one every day, but
I need to show more in the trailer.
I think it'd be too much weight on the arm for me. So, anyway, I think it's time to move on. Right, next up, this I understand. Japanese reinforcements for Conflict 47. Benno.
Yeah, so this is the new releases from Warlord Games for the expansion to, sort of expansion and supplement to Conflict 47. This is looking at some new pieces that you can include in your Japanese army. Leading the way are the Ghost Attack Squad, which I thought were some of the coolest looking miniatures I think they've done in Conflict 47 up till now, I'd say.
Bucket heads!
Yeah, so these guys actually have the ability to sort of phase through matter and sort of disappear and reappear at will. Actually, one of the cool promo models for these is that they can sort of phase through buildings and stuff. So yeah, these are sort of like your stealthy ninjas, I guess you'd say, of the Japanese army in Weird World War. And this moves on to then some of the slightly more sort of frontline troops, I guess you'd say, in the army, which are the Battle Exoskeleton Squad. So these have been designed that are slightly different to the Americans, which are a little bit more bulky. And these sort of servo suits and exosuits actually allow them to be a lot quicker on the battlefield instead of just being these walking tanks.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah.
Tell me. They are Samurai Tau! Man,
If you really want
the most awesome Samurai Tau I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Oh man, I want those.
They're really cool designs.
Isn't that awesome? I am loving this range. I am absolutely loving this range. Oh wow! Have we anything more for these guys?
Yeah. So the final thing. last
favourite
weekend was
bet.
the Scorpion Light Walker,
Yep.
as you can see there. Again, this is based on an existing design in the sort of fluff in the background of the German sort of spider tank, but instead the Japanese decided to make it a little bit more agile and used as like a recon walker. And this can come armed with a big, huge Gatling gun on the back of it as the sort of sting in the Scorpion's tail, or you can switch it out for a bigger sort of anti-tank gun as well if you want as well. So very, very cool.
I love the design of that one. It just feels Japanese.
This week, me and Az have kind of set John on a mission to get us into tank war. So John is doing us up a US tank force and a German tank force.
You're already thinking about mixing it up, aren't you? We haven't even started yet.
Dude, what I'm saying, we're gonna do our tank war probably live or something. We're gonna have a bit of fun with that. We'll see.
You're gonna do your Nachtwolf again?
But no. When we're done with tank war, okay.
Conflict.
Will we go with this? Will we have a crack at this? Okay, right. We're going to have a crack at this.
It's been tricky for me because I've been wanting to get up on my history. Risk and he's been fantastic at helping me with that.
Oh, you've seen nothing yet. Where do you get a load of me?
No, but this is it. I've been resisting history by Warren because anytime I see in the comments, it's like, well, Warren, you were close, just a couple of centuries out. Oh, you were close, but that war never actually happened. So what I'm saying is...
The history of the world according to Warren.
Conflict would be a good one for us, because at least I can put that in a part of my brain that's separate from historical, because I'm trying to take the historical
You're going to pull it in your bullshit box, aren't you?
Yeah.
Dude, I can totally fill you in on history, man. I know all about it. As you will see tomorrow on XLBS, come across... There's a 7-day free trial. For God's sake, take the trial, come over till you see this ultimate bit of history that I'm going to... It's a gift to you, man. Next week, we're sending him to Chicago.
Yes.
On a secret mission.
Yes.
Okay? So he's going to Chicago on a secret mission.
Yes.
Right? This is it. You're going on a plane, man. And you know how I feel about that. So before you left...
I know you ain't getting on no planes.
I wanted to impart upon you this piece of knowledge that is going to melt your mind and open your horizons to history according to the Book of Warzone. You're going to love it, man. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. This is...
Tell me now, if anyone ever invents time travel, never let him use it. He would rewrite the history of the world. It would be horrible.
Man, no, the world you would be living in right now.
Cronenberg.
Honestly, you would love it. You'd love every second of it.
Everywhere.
While we're on the topic of things that are weird and history reinvented, okay?
Oh, segue. Well played.
I'm professional, man. Time for some Wild West Exodus.
Yeah.
We've just come off a Wild West Exodus week, so it's time to have a look at their October pre-orders. Ben, fill me in.
Yeah, so as you say, these are the pre-orders for Wild West Exodus in October. Kicking things off, we've got some stuff for the Enlightened. So we've got some very strange and weird contraptions here with the Abomination Widowers, and there's also the Abomination Seekers as well. So these are some sort of mixing of mechanical and synthetic, I guess you'd say, in this vein. And as you know, the Enlightened love playing around as well at the same time.
Well, you see, I've actually played these on the tabletop.
You've played these kind of mechanical zombies.
Yeah, so basically the Enlightened like to use science for good, but their version of good. So,
everything's relative, man.
Exactly, but that farmhand, he was incredibly useful. He's unfortunately dead. Oh, I'm sure I can stick some gears and pistons on him and put him back to work. That's fine. Oh, we're going to war. Well, let's just drop a gun on that.
I can stick some gears and piss on him,
Pistons,
and hopefully he'll be fine. Oh, right, sorry, okay, right.
Steampunk world, gears and pistons.
Sorry, okay. So you've pissed on him, and then what happens?
you can put them back to work.
Yeah.
And you can raise them up again. And there's a very cool thing in the game. If you're playing with one of the main characters, Carpathian, and they die near him, he can actually bring them back to the tabletop again mid-game. So they can be very, very deadly in a match.
So it's like re-raising the dead.
Yeah, you can re-raise the dead.
I think these things are terrifying. I just want to go ahead and say,
look, this is your Halloween order of minis. If ever you zombies on mono wheels. It's like
they're nippy little buggers, fast zombies.
Oh, I love it. I actually, if we can go to the ones above, I like the walker little guys.
The widowers.
I think they are so creepy. The Walking Dead's coming back, right?
Segue.
Can I just say, it's for anybody that wants to join me in the forums on The Walking Dead, this season, okay, after every episode, might do a little vlog, or I might do something in the forums. I want to get a little club together.
See, I'd be on board for that. I would.
Talkers, okay? You've got walkers, Beasts of War, we have talkers, okay? Can I just say, if you haven't watched Walking Dead, okay,
go watch it.
It is amazing. Go and watch it. And I've worked out why I love it.
Right.
Okay. It took me some time to realize why I love it, but it was the sense of, whenever I was watching Walking Dead, I always felt really comfortable. Okay. And it was a sense of comfort that you can only get from that sense of, we're all anyway. It's like it was that sense of community, that sense of tightness, of it felt it gave you a real sense of comfort, of just that feeling of all you can do is rely on one another.
Do you feel like you live in a zombie apocalypse? Do you feel like everyone's out to get you?
I think I would enjoy living in a zombie apocalypse.
That would be you'd relish it. That's where you would shine.
I think I could be a contender in a zombie apocalypse.
There's a TV show that was on a few years ago. You might want to go and hunt down them more. It's called The Colony, right?
Yeah.
It's a reality TV show where they take about 20 people, find an abandoned area of Los Angeles,
right?
Put them in a warehouse with no tech, no running water, no power, and they have to figure out how to survive in a post-apocalyptic world.
It's not the same thing. If I was on that game show, it's not the same thing.
It's not exactly
a game show. Do you know what the
show,
difference
though?
is? The difference is, well, I think what made me have that sense of contentment watching The Walking Dead is the sense of the world has stopped. There is nothing to do but survive.
This is why I think
so. You wake up in the morning
Mm-hmm.
with nothing to do, and according to Jesse Ventura, by the end of the day, you're nearly half done. So it's like, you know, it's that sense of the world has stopped, and your only role in life now is to survive and take care of the people that you love. So I would have my Beasts of War buddies.
It's an old type of simplicity, yeah.
So hang on. We would act as your posse being sent out to get you food and stuff. Yeah. You sit back at base, that's fine.
No, I get what you're saying, actually. I really do.
It's that sense of, there's a sense of simplicity to it. It's as complex as the survival itself might be. Life itself actually becomes a less complex
proposition. Kind of primal. It's kind of animalistic. You're just living day to day. But see, I would be the person that would let your posse down. Because I know in a zombie apocalypse, I'd be the one that you'd be like, don't trust anyone. Don't bring anyone back to the colony. We can't afford to feed it. And I'd be like, but I just saw this little family. They were on their own. They needed help. And I would bring them home and would have no food. And then they'd kill us.
They would turn.
I'd be the one that was too soft. And that would be the end of me. I wouldn't do well.
Honestly, the first thing I'm doing in the zombie apocalypse is I'm getting to the local police station, locking myself in.
With 40% of the other people who actually have keys to the police station.
Yes,
You gotta think.
You have to help you find the dead body with them on.
You forgot about the fact that lots of people carry keys to the police station, man. Remember, we already have our plan worked out. It's an ice cream van.
Yeah.
Me, you, ice cream van, sorted. Anyway.
Hold on. I'm not letting this go. Expand it. Is this so you can ding-a-ling-ding-a-ling and lure zombies to you?
And we're going to have it gas-powered.
And it's going to have a fridge in it? So
We will have cornettos.
Cornettos.
Yep. So we've got plenty of
strawberry,
all-day suckers. And everything we need can be contained within an ice cream van.
One of our community members, he actually does Viking reenactments, did a beautiful piece of sketch work for it.
We have an artwork of myself, Justin, and the ice cream van.
Yeah. In the zombie apocalypse.
So it's I
feel like I need filled in. Ben,
we're rapidly approaching Halloween.
Yeah.
So we will get something zombie going. We'll get something zombie going before then.
Just please.
Anyway, can we get back to the Wild West Exodus? You guys keep taking us on these stupid tangents.
Right.
So, as well as the sort of stuff we saw there for the Enlightened, there's also the Rebel Scouts and the Dixie Sniper miniature box that came out as well, which is pretty cool. And as we come towards the end as well, there's also some new Warrior Nation stuff as well, which is possibly my favorite. I do love myself some sort of Native American Indian stuff going on. It's very, very cool. And obviously they have like loads of were creatures as well, which is super.
Wow.
Wait,
have we got were creatures?
No,
we don't have the were creatures here then. Okay.
I think the big...
Yeah, so here is the Brave Hunters and the Youngbloods. So these are sort of like the younger guys in your tribe and stuff as you're playing on the tabletop. So
the big thing about this particular release from War Cradle here because that isn't even everything that came out with this hands. The pre-orders for October, there's even more. You can go and check it out on their website. There's a ridiculous amount of stuff to choose from, but they're putting a lot of versatility into all the units that are coming out. So every single hands box they showed off had options for melee or for ranged, had options for ambushing or for stealth, it had options. Like, everything was very versatile, which to me, I can't wait to see once people get their hands in the second edition how the posses are going to be built, and if you're going to go for those seekers and just get 10 of them and speed across the battlefield full ho, or if you're going to maybe mix and match. I want to see, because in 40k we're used to seeing maybe a lot of shooty armies or a lot of close combat specialists. Sometimes it weighs one or the other quite heavily. I don't think WWX has that issue as much. I think the versatility actually will show really diverse posses with really interesting mixes of units. So,
well, that's interesting because there was so much visual and background differentiation between the factions. They didn't need to differentiate them in a gameplay style necessarily. There's a lot of differentiation there, but it wasn't a requirement. And what it means to me at least is that you can pick according to what you like.
Absolutely.
And then you can go in and start to shape the game to suit a play style. That actually just
excites you.
I like playing aggressively. Okay, so taking 40k as your example, I obviously play Nids. But I love the look of Tau. But I never play Tau because the idea of just sitting back with a gun line. Same with dwarves in the old Warhammer Fantasy. I love dwarves. Not as much as this beardy guy on the screen. He loves dwarves in a way that is unhealthy. I love dwarves in a healthy way. He loves dwarves in an unhealthy way. Anyway, I would never play dwarves because the idea of them all just standing on the line with their pistols out,
firing away.
Never really did it for me. You know,
see,
I want to be.
This is the thing. Whenever you're playing with these, it'll depend on what style of hero you pick for the faction. As to whether or not you're going full frontal attack or just standing back with your pistols out firing away.
Full frontal every time.
Full frontal every
time.
time.
Can I also say on the Native American guys, right? Werebears. Okay.
Oh yes.
Werebears are probably. I always thought that of all of the animals, cryptozoological animals, for the scientific term among us all who are in the know, I always thought that the werewolf was probably the most terrifying of the cryptozoological animal spectrum. Until I saw the werebear, man.
But you have a thing for bears.
The
opposite.
Yes, bears terrify me. Can I just put a request?
Okay, I was wrong.
Really, really, really
scary.
Really scary.
So a bear that can climb buildings and jump up and pounce and come down.
And we have lovely community members. Okay, you know, Beasts of War have the loveliest community members who love their Warzan and treat him with all sorts of respect, and send me videos on Facebook of polar bears jumping into glass to try and eat the little girls who are tapping on the glass and stuff like that.
She should have tapped on the glass.
She was a little girl at the zoo. Okay, she's wearing a baby seal hat.
Okay, she's really asking for this one.
She walks up to the glass. Of a polar bear enclosure. Polar bears are my most terrifying of all the bears. I really. Is it
that camouflage aspect?
No, it's the fact they bite your head off, man. She pops up to look at the polar bear. Within a nanosecond of her popping up to look at the polar bear leaps and smashes into the glass with the jaws open to try and eat this baby seal and little girl that is wearing said baby seal.
She should have been wearing a baby seal.
Yeah, that polar bear was looking at it going, why are you wearing lunch on your head? By the way, your head looks tasty. I would eat that
like
too.
Walking into your bedroom as you're just waking up in the morning and being dressed in energy drinks. Just like head to toe. You're just You can't be held accountable for that.
Yeah. So also, thank you to the community member that sent me the picture of a woman being mauled by a polar bear. A woman jumped into a polar bear enclosure.
Right. That seems like a bad plan.
Again, her fault.
Yeah, to go and pet a polar bear called Numbnuts or something, as far as I'm aware. And this polar bear then went on to maul her.
There's only one Numbnuts in that story, right?
I think that's a Darwin Award right there.
She did survive. How? I don't know. Bears are terrifying. But in Wild West Exodus,
you're okay with them?
Do you know, Stu, if you're watching, I would like a were polar bear.
A were polar bear.
I would like a were polar bear. Something. I think you can get it in. Maybe related in something to the Inuit.
A were black bear would be maybe a little more.
No. I want a were polar bear. I want a northern
reason that you could have it.
I want a northern tribe. Okay, from the Alaskan kind of thing.
This is the thing. The warrior nation is not just the Native Americans from America. Yeah. The warrior nation is all Native peoples around the planet.
I'm hoping for some Irish in there at some point.
Oh yeah.
There we go. But we don't have bears.
They're sculpts, by the way.
You get a were-rabbit. Some kind of
hair.
Were-hair. But yes, if you're watching, a were-polar bear would be a really cool thing to consider.
Would it make you happy or sad?
I think it would be all kinds of awesome. I'm thinking of doing a warrior nation thing, but it's set in the snow. Okay? So what I'd have to probably model green stuff blankets and just wrap them all in blankets.
Yeah.
But, hell, so what?
There was a question that came in for me this week about Wild West Exodus, so I'd like to answer it here. Commodore Rob was asking about the Confederate Union within the world. They've actually been folded into the Outlaw faction, so they have been dropped as a full faction, but they are still fully playable.
Okay. There we go.
That was just one that Rob had asked me, so there you go, mate.
Okay, right. Final piece of news. This is probably going to blow me away as well. Because every time Dark Age previews some new minis, I'm sitting going, oh! Right, let's see. Ben, what have they got?
Yeah, so this is the guys at Dark Age just talking about what's happening over the rest of October and into November. We're finally going to be seeing the Brood getting their own starter box, which will come out this month, towards the tail end of it. But they've also been showing off a few of the different renders for some of the big creatures they're throwing into the mix as well. Obviously, one of the big things for Dark Age is that they've been really focusing on doing this resculpting and reimagining of the different races and the factions. And so that's what we're seeing here with the look of the Brood. There's also the fantastic mix of what I like to say zombie and centaur, which is Marius as well, which is a superb looking model. But there's some superb things coming out for Dark Age.
Is he a Brood miniature or is he a scarred miniature?
I'm not entirely sure. This was thrown in as a little bit of a sneaky preview towards the end of the thing, towards the end of the little article piece. I'm sure we will know in due time, of course. But it's certainly a very interesting one.
Is his Ding Dong holding a plasma rifle?
That's not a ding dong. That's an arm.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's an easy mistake to make.
It's all right, man. That happens to me all the time.
It's
an arm. Go back there. I want to talk about each of these three movies for a second, right? Because this deserves. Look at that. Look at that. Now that is a Halloween creature. That is a thing of absolute terror.
Do you know why you like that? That is.
I don't know why I like that.
I do. It's Termagant meets feminine siren. It's.
Something like that,
A femigant.
Femgant.
Yeah. I think that's cool. Now this.
Yes.
Everybody knows I have a soft spot for the giant enemy crabs in life, and this
not a crab.
Right there. Well, it's crab-like.
It looks like some kind of giant armored spider.
Yes, that's called a crab, Justin. But I will grant you, this crab has tentacles.
What was the line? What was the line you said for the zoologically inclined?
Yes.
Cryptozoological.
Yeah. Justin will join us at some point. So anyway, yes, I like that. And then the dude with the arm coming out where his ding dong should be.
He's got a face coming out of his shoulder.
Yes.
I don't want to. It's hard to get. There we go.
I'm kind of undecided as to whether it's Brood or Scarred this guy's for, because I know the Scarred are humans who attach other bits to themselves, but I know the Brood takes biomass and converts it into monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, this actually might be some sort of push forward of the narrative as well. So I think this guy actually existed in the story beforehand, and this is now what he looks like at this current point in the sort of the history and sort of where the story's going. So it'll be very interesting to see where this all goes. So I think he previously was. I think his name he was the Prevailer, so he was a Grand Templar, I think. But yeah, so it'll be very fascinating to see where this goes. And obviously, if this means the story's going forward, that's also very cool narratively as well. So,
Awesome stuff. Right. Enough of our gab shiting. I think it's time to get Leo into the studio. So we'll hand over to Justin and Leo and get the latest on Joan of Arc.
Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com. It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com.
Hi everybody, I am back in the studio with Leo from Mythic Games, and as you can probably guess if you look at the table in front of us, we're talking Joan of Arc. So Leo, the Kickstarter is imminent.
Oh yes, amazing. I mean, there's been a long story and now suddenly it's there. So we have all the excitement, stress, but yes, we're excited. It's just coming now and we have so many things to show.
Yeah, okay, now, for someone who has been living under a rock and has no idea what Joan of Arc is, if you do not know, I don't know how you've managed it this far, but can you give everybody just a very, very quick overview of what Joan of Arc is?
Well, Joan of Arc is a board game with miniatures set in the 100 Years' War. So not only it doesn't only focus on Joan of Arc herself, but the whole 100 Years' War from the beginning till the end.
Yes.
So it really is a board game. Although it looks like a miniatures game, it is a board game that uses miniatures, and it's a scenario-based game. So that means you can have scenarios, very narrative scenarios, and you can also have like big battles.
Yes.
You can play from 2 to 4 players. The English army, the French army, some characters based on the scenarios we chose, and you can have mass battles also, and you can have the Devil's army or the God's army. And yes, and so a game is only 1 hour, or about 1 hour long, and we chose a different scale than most similar games that go on Kickstarter use.
Yeah.
This we called it the legendary scale because Time of Legends, Joan of Arc.
Yes.
And it's well, it's much smaller than the regular 28-34mm scale, and it allows us to have plenty of minis on the board. You see, as you can see here.
Yeah. Well, if we even look at the table, so this is just a rude game layout from a game that we've been playing. So you've got your castle walls, but you've got what feels like a full army in a very condensed space.
Exactly. And this is what our scale allows. Not only can we have plenty of minis if we want to, but we don't have to. In some scenarios, you just use a few of them.
Yeah.
But you can also have 3D terrain and buildings, like castles, houses, churches, trees and rocks and
whatever you like.
Whatever you like, yes.
Yeah. Now, up until now, we've been playing with the prototypes of the game. So it's all been prototype pieces.
This is still prototype. The version that you will see on the Kickstarter page is much closer to the final product. So we've reworked, and even in the videos we shot here, as we came back, things were improving all the times, like the design, the card design. But we've changed a lot of things, especially the boards the players play on, and the box. The logo has changed since we started. This was the older logo. We've changed it. Yes, no, it's okay.
Told me I would have changed it.
It's okay, no problem. But I think it's a good opportunity to show. Well, we've shown art, we've done things, but we haven't really shown the graphics, the design, the layout, and everything. So I think it's a good opportunity to show that now.
Well, I have some of them here. So the first one we have is, this is going to be the final box, and is this the new logo?
Yes, this is the new logo. This is the final box art, and well, first of all, you can see a beautiful. From my perspective, a beautiful piece of art from Bayard Wu, who is not a beginner.
Yeah.
He's worked for Games Workshop a lot. He's done some covers for Age of Sigmar, Warhammer. He's also worked on World of Warcraft.
Ah, really?
Yes. He's done a lot of artwork for World of Warcraft. Also, Magic: The Gathering, a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And even Fallout 4 from Bethesda. So he's done a lot. He's a very, very good. He's from China, and he's done probably the most. He's the lead artist on this game, and so we have a new logo, and we like it. Time of Legends means this is a range, so there shall be some other games if this game is successful.
Yeah. All right, I'm sitting here waiting for Time of Legends Cuchulainn.
Exactly.
But the artwork itself is absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that you have the main battle scene in the front, and in the background you can start to see, just sort of in the shadows, the forces of good and evil starting to go at it, which is very cool.
Oh, and let me say that it's not Joan is good and the English are bad.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You in the game, the two armies are neutral, and each character can choose as they level up to go one side or the other.
I see.
So it will depend on the player's choice when they make it. And this aspect of good and evil is not is always present in the game, because this is a strong belief they had at that time.
Yes.
But if you want to play purely historical scenarios without any fantasy, you can. But
I don't know. I just put a little bit of fancy in there.
Well, because we'll have some historical battles that we will play as scenarios.
Yeah.
But we'll also have a lot of fantasy scenarios, always based on a true story and on legends and drawings and myth that they had at the time.
Cool. All right. Now, game component wise, you said you're updating them. So you've given me some images. So if you want to just walk us through what
Sure.
So what's this?
Well, these, as you know, in the game, you have activation cubes, and in the early prototypes that we had, you also have cubes for myth and for experience.
Yes.
So because these are not activation cubes, we said we shouldn't have them as cubes.
Yeah.
So instead of having cubes, we'll have coins. And this is, well, the experience point. You can recognize on the left the XP. So, and the X is also like a cross, and it's very
in keeping.
Yeah. And the other one are the myth points, the myth coins that you will have. So we'll have them in, probably they'll be in as tokens, right? That represent that will look like coins, and we might do an add-on to pimp the box if you want, and so maybe they will have a different appearance. But let's
keep your eyes
not
out for that one then. In the game, obviously, we're gonna have some stat cards and actual ability cards as well. The artwork on these is gorgeous.
Thank you. Well, as you can see now, the layout is much more developed and finished than what we had. You can see on the left hand corner the army.
Yes.
So John Talbot,
English.
The three lions. This is the English flag. The fleur-de-lis from Jean de Dunois is, of course, France. And then you have, well, the werewolf. This one is written in English, but in French, but we'll have the cards in both French and English, of course.
Well, there's a question. Now, you guys did Mythic Battles, and you did dual language cards inside every single box. Is that something you're going to do again?
Oh, that's a good question. We haven't made the decision yet. We could, well, we thought for Mythic Battles that it would be more convenient to have everything in one box.
Yes.
So we might do the same.
I did think it was an interesting design choice, and a very clever one as well, because it meant that no matter what happened, wherever it was going, it had the two languages that it's written in the box, and you don't have to worry about, oh crap, we sent a French one to England, or crap, we sent an English one to France.
Exactly, that's true. So we might just do the same. So in this Kickstarter, we'll have English and French for sure. So you will be able to choose your version. It's very likely that the core box will have both.
Yes.
And then the expansions, they will be either in English or in French. So
Yes.
when you complete your Kickstarter and you receive the Pledge Manager, you will choose which language you want to receive. So this is the French version because we arrived, we wanted to show you.
Yes.
So you can see, the werewolf is from the evil's army, and the angel, of course, is a god's army. On the left, you have the attack dice. This hasn't changed. On the right, the defense dice. You have a few words like here is flight or transport. That means he can carry to the sky. And fast means that this unit moves 2 areas per turn, but it can also go in the sky. So everything now is very clean.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Moving on, we have.
So this is the battle board. I'm not sure we'll call it exactly like that, but this is the battle board. This is where everything is recorded for the scenario and the battle. So on the left, you will have the turn. So this is where you put the turn cards on the top. Of course, once you've used it, you see it face.
It's flipped to the discard side.
This little square here is where, just slightly on the right, the square is where you put the doom dice. You know, once a unit is out of combat, you don't know whether they're coming back on the battlefield, or they're going to stay out of combat, or if they're going to die. You roll a die. The dice that is here. Then here and then on the center is where the out of combat units go.
Yes.
So we have separated in 2. So if you have two sides, you could put them on each side.
Yes.
If they come back immediately, of course, you put them back on the board. If they will come back next turn, you put there where the lower arrow points, just here. And of course, if they die, they are out of the game.
Yeah.
So, and then on the right, you have the river.
Yes.
So on the top will be where the deck,
Yeah.
and on the 3 spaces where. And you can see it's a real design that we try to do that would look like a relic from the medieval times. And
it keeps it really nice and self-contained. You don't have cards lying everywhere across the tabletop, which is something that can happen with some of these more sprawling games. So very, very nice, very self-contained.
And we are happy with the final design because it's an elegant
ornate
board, and this is what we tried to achieve.
Yeah. Cards then. So you're going to have quite a few cards to work with during the game.
Yes.
What are we seeing here for different decks?
These are, as you understood, the back of the cards, right?
Yes.
So on the left lower side is
the hourglass.
Yes, the hourglass is the turn, the turn cards. Just right next to it is the river. The river cards will be here, and then on the top you have on the left what we call the tactics decks or the myth decks.
Yes.
So you will use either of those depending
on historical or mythic game.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then on the right, these are the character decks.
Yes.
So when you meet a character and you are going to talk to them, because you know you can talk to non-player characters in this game, you will use this deck of cards, and so you will have questions based on whether you want to take a risk or not. You might address them differently, and you have different questions and different answers and the outcome. So this is how we designed the back of the cards.
I like this because it sort of adds a little bit of a role-playing aspect into the game, where you have to sort of play your character. How would my general of my forces talk to this old wizened crone who is found in the forest?
Exactly. And this adds these immersive elements that we wanted, but there's still some gameplay with it. You know, something will happen when you decide to talk to them and be friendly or hostile. It's
if I was walking in the forest and I saw this old lady, I might not be incredibly kind.
Well, who knows what's the best thing to do with her?
Yes. Okay. Now this is new.
Yeah, this is the player's dashboard this time. probably is the final design. So from left to right, the top two areas you will recognize are where you put your myth coins or your experience coins.
Yes.
Right. And then the four areas on the right are where you put your activation cubes.
Yes.
Now, we will have cubes. We will change the colors that we've used so far.
Yes.
We made sure that colorblind people could recognize them, and we added this symbol on it. So the black cubes will be the activation cubes, and you will put them where the stained glass is.
Yes.
Okay. And the three areas on the bottom are if you want to
reserve stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it's the reserve if you want to store and keep some activation cubes for next turn.
Yes.
The logo that you have, this little star here, is something that we'll use in the pimp. Sorry to say that, the pimp version of the box.
The pimped out version.
Yeah. If we will probably have something that will enhance the game component. So if people don't want to use cubes, we will have flags with these symbols. So little flags and a little base, and this is how you will activate your troops, and they will have these symbols. So you could have both if you take this.
That last will look really cool, just laying down little flags on the board next to your activated leagues. Okay, next up.
Next one is the charge areas. So as you know, the mounted cavalry
units,
the units on horses usually have the charge ability.
Yes.
So if you use a charge activation cube, that means you can move one extra space plus attack.
Yeah, which is scary at times. Very scary.
So, and of course, each of these cubes can be used as a normal one, as the activation on the left.
Yeah.
But the other ones, the ones that are not black, have a special power that you can use instead.
Yeah.
This one will be kind of a brown beige.
Yeah.
This is the reactivation cube.
Yes.
So if you have activated an area, usually you can't put any more cubes on it, unless it is a replay cube.
And then the last one is actually my favorite of them, which is actually the blue one, is the interrupt.
Yes.
Which means during your turn, Leo, I can go, whoa, 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 I'm not letting you do that. I need to stop the shenanigans right now.
And this is very important because it strategically can change everything. You can see that, okay, your opponent might do a turn that will really destroy you completely, and you can react and completely destroy his strategy, and he won't be able to do what he wanted. So if you use them properly, this could change the course of a game.
Yes.
And of course, you can save them for later if you don't want to use them.
I do like the fact that for each of these, you can now save 3 of each.
Yes.
Because I remember in the earlier versions we were playing, you couldn't.
No,
I think it was,
really, no,
you could reserve more than one activation cube, but the other ones, I think it was only you could reserve one of them.
Yes, we've changed that. Yeah, as we play tested, we've come to something simpler, and the way we design the scenarios now takes this into account.
Yeah. Okay. Now the last image I have actually shows the main board and things all put together to see where everything's laying out.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
Looks so good.
Yes.
Well,
like this. There's something interesting here is that you can also see how the cards will be very sleek and simple. You see, this means that you have 2 activation. You see, this adds a replay cube, or this adds a new activation, or destroys one. This adds 3 myth coins, so you can have an idea of what the game will look like. Well, but you see, what I like is that even for small things like the boards or the dashboards or the box design, we've worked a lot also. We didn't want to have something too simple or plain and have fancy, nice looking miniatures. We also want the rest of the game to be high quality.
Yeah, but looking at it, even the art design, it's got that real sort of high society feel to it. Everything is so highly detailed. It feels like it's got that what's the word? ostentatiousness, I think is the word I'm looking for, where it's just overdone but still incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, well, Leo, the Kickstarter is launching very soon, and one of the key things that's coming from it, I almost forgot, you'll have seen, whenever I showed you the table, we've got the castle walls laid out here, and if I very quickly just, oh, these guys are blue tacked on, it's fine. I'll show you one of the castle wall segments here. So this is going to be a modular set that people can pick up on the Kickstarter as well, yeah?
Yes, it'll be an expansion. We'll have what we'll probably call the siege expansion or the castle expansion. Yeah, you can show. And you will be able to build modular castles. These are just a little bit of what we'll have, because we'll have much more than this, and it's already impressive.
Yeah, well, I love the fact that the way you've designed it, you can actually just turn the walls however you like.
Yeah, you can exactly. So, and you can play a scenario where you'll have just one wall, or you could have a full castle. We'll have the keep also. We'll have a big entrance door. We'll have bigger walls than this. So in the final version will be huge, and you can.
This is just a teaser.
Yes, this is just a teaser. We'll have the siege engines. We'll have plenty of incredible things, but yes, just on the board you can see that it adds something. It's you're even more into the game. So
see,
yes,
it forces your perspective on just how big some of this stuff is. Because if I take one of our characters here and put him next to the wall, that looks to be properly in scale.
It is. That's why the scale we chose is so good, because you can play on a normal size table and have all this: a castle, a dragon, some angels, and some big things, and a church, and you can have all this on a normal size table, and it still looks detailed and crispy because of the new technology we used.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing. You guys at Mythic Games, I know you love to do crazy stuff. So I am literally sitting here waiting to see what some of the stretch goals for this are. Now, I'm not going to ask you right now. I'm sure that's a surprise for your backers.
It's just a teaser, but we have many more surprises and crazy things. I can't wait to show you guys.
All right, well, everybody, the Kickstarter launches next week. Make sure and check it out whenever it goes live on Kickstarter.
Tuesday, October 10th.
October 10th, okay.
9 p.m. CEST, I think. So I think for people in the UK, it's 8 p.m. or it's 3 p.m. EDT.
Actually, if it's Central,
yes, if it's 9 Paris time, it's 8 p.m. England time and Great Britain time.
Yeah.
And it's 3 p.m. For the East Coast of the US.
Right, well, everybody, Leo, I have to say, thank you as always for bringing this in. This is a fantastic game. I cannot wait to get sat down to do more stuff with this with you guys.
Thank you.
Everybody, I tell you what, get your comments in below. Myself and Leo will move on here. And, well, we hope you enjoy the Kickstarter.
Fame and fortune awaits in Blood and Plunder. Set sail in the golden age of piracy and claim the riches of the Caribbean at beastsofwar.com. From Viking halls to the cities of the future, terrain buffs will love our foreground hub. Watch gaming tables of all genres come to life at beastsofwar.com.
Okay, so I am really excited for Joan of Arc. I cannot wait to actually see this Kickstarter go live. Warren, yes, I know you're happy, you're excited. You can't wait to get it in and play more games of it and maybe get revenge on me.
This is. I am totally going to get my revenge upon you, man. Don't you worry about that for a second.
Although the coolest thing, I was talking to Leo a bit off camera, and we didn't mention it really too much during the interview. But apparently the core box, you are getting a metric buttload of stuff. That is an accurate measurement.
A metric buttload.
Accurate measurement.
I just cannot wait to see where this game goes. It's just with the castles and with, you know, they said at the start when they brought this game in and showed it to us way early in the process. Yeah, we're going to do castles and stuff like that. And I thought to myself, way down, maybe second Kickstarter. I hadn't realized that it was actually all going to be there.
I'm sorry, Warren,
ready.
Were you there for the Mythic Battles Pantheon Kickstarter? Did you see what they did?
I suppose. I suppose.
should have expected it.
I should have known what these guys are capable of.
Yep.
The bit that's just blown me away this week now, whenever we got the chance to sit down with them, was the quality of the components. You know, the attention to detail that has went into the design of the components. This game is a collector's piece in its own right. There are some games that they're worthy to be owned simply for the fact of owning them, because they are something special. Kingdom Death Monster fits into that bracket. There are games, for me, Mythic Battles as well fitted into that. There are games that are of a quality that they just deserve to be owned. You just want to have them because the quality of them is there. Sometimes the rules and stuff like that let them down a little bit. For example, Myth way back fell into that category. If it was a game, the components, the art, the everything of it just made it had to be owned. Unfortunately, the game itself, it had layers of complexity. It was a difficult kind of game to get into. It was a very good game once you got into it.
Yeah, see,
but it was
the one
tricky.
thing I find sometimes a rules writer will make a minor mental leap to them, but it's something that the player absolutely has to know, and they don't put it in the rulebook, which leaves you going, what am I meant to do?
But the elegance of the gameplay of Joan of Arc and Mythic Battles is just... there are games where everything just seems to fall elegantly into place.
But the two games are very, very different.
So different.
You know,
so
I mean,
different.
like they could have just taken Mythic Battles and reskinned it. They
could.
didn't.
They
They
could.
built a completely new, elegant game system to work with.
And it suits what it is.
Exactly.
It suits what it is. Do you know the bit I'm looking forward to most in this? Taking this game and trying it out as a mass battle game.
It's interesting.
Doing a big ass hex field with loads of different pieces of terrain and stuff like that on it, and just going head to head with a really big.
See, I thought you would love creating scenarios, because we've already, from the limited amount of scenarios we've seen, there's a huge amount of potential diversity there. And the things you're going to be able to do once you have a big battlefield going, especially with interacting with NPCs and civilians and doing the kind of hunting mechanics that they built in, I thought that would be your cup of tea. So I like that. You're
but never underestimate a wargamer's desire to see things
battles.
big. And any game that can scale up, you know, any wargamer among us we may not be able to do it. We might be able to resist it, but don't tell me you don't think about it. We all, if there's a potential for a game to scale, we want to see it scale. We want to see where it can go.
Here's the thing, though. Even if you scale this game way up, say you had a 3v3 game, the game is not going to slow down over much because of the activation system that's built into this game, with the cards giving you X number of activation cubes every turn. You're going to have to leave some of your forces behind, decide tactically what's the most viable thing to move in a situation like that, which I think could make for really interesting games.
Oh, it just the very fact that you can focus in on a unit and start to make units perform incredibly heroic acts.
Yeah, the whole experience system in it as well is a really nice way to tie in those characters and give you a real connection to them.
It gives a fluidity to the game where the game does what you want it to do. You never, there are limitations, but the limitations make logical sense. So you know when you're hitting a limitation. But before that, you never feel limited. The way you do it in a lot of games, there are artificial limitations in place that are there as part of the game balance, and they can feel limiting. Okay, in this game, and again, go and watch the battle between myself and Justin, because looking at it for the first time, you can think to yourself, well, it's just an overburn of a unit. You're able to use it again and again, but the sacrifices you have to make in order to be able to make that unit perform heroism, the cost goes up and up and up, but you never feel a limitation. You feel like you can kick ass.
Yeah, but also you're left with the tactical choices of where to move on the table, because some of the actual hexes allow you to move less and less forces. So you might go through a choke point, and this unit that you had a big block of stuff moving up the field, suddenly 2 of that has had to fall behind while you move the rest on to try and continue the mission.
Yeah, this game makes me feel like Napoleon Bonaparte.
Okay.
Yep. I feel that whenever I'm playing this game, I feel like I'm conducting an orchestra.
Right, so you're sitting there waiting for Time of Legends Napoleon.
It is simply a case of I feel like I can command the game to do what I want it to do, to smash my opponent in the ways that I want it to. The rules are not dictating the strategy to me. I am bending the will of the rules to the strategy that I want to perform. Yeah. And it's like, whoa! It just makes you feel like a tiger. Tiger blood, man. Just, this, do you know what? This game should come in a blue pill-sized box. That's what it does for me, man. That's what it does.
Fair enough. I, however, prefer the narrative side of the game.
Yes.
I enjoy the scenarios because it feels like playing an online role-playing game, because you can move about, you can explore the area, you can talk to the NPCs and actually have them interact with you.
I'm curious, what hex-based strategy games have you ever played before? Because this is a hex-based strategy game unlike any I've ever played before.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's nothing, because the big difference for me is obviously these are miniatures, but it plays to me, and I'm going to say it, like a board game. I never, because it's so fast, because you're not doing tape measures, but you're also not even doing normal hex play where you're sort of going hex to hex to hex.
Yeah.
Each hex is split either as a single hex or maybe a half hex or into 3 sections, and it creates the maps and the design level of the small changes they've made to how units move and maneuver, and how groups, as you were mentioning, Justin, groups of units move and maneuver and get left behind or split off, create such fluid, fast-paced actions that I don't think I've ever played a hex-based game like it. It's something new.
We talk about innovation in gaming and where is it coming from. The innovation in this game is incredible. There are pieces of game design where you look at it and you go, where did you put it all together? Twilight Struggle by Ananda Gupta is one of these ones. It's like, it's not until you play Twilight Struggle that you sit back and you go, I don't know how they put that together. This is a game when you're looking at it and you're seeing all the usual components. You see minis, you see hexes, you see cubes and things like that there. And then you play it. And then you play it a second time. And your mind explodes and you go, how did it get put together? How, what crafts, mystical magic was going through the designer's mind that was able to put all these elements together into something that just was so elegant that every part of the game felt it fitted like every other part of the game. And the cross appeal, it will appeal to board gamers.
Yeah, 100%.
Anybody who loves their board games will adore this game. It is that good. And it will appeal to miniature wargamers.
Anyone who's ever played Memoir 44, or if you're even into the likes of maybe Twilight Imperium, there's a certain synergy about it, but the flexibility of the fact that all the hexes can be rearranged and put however you want, that's the really interesting part of it for me. And that, as I say, that splitting up of them, that takes it, as you say, a hybrid, a step beyond board gaming, but a step back from tabletop gaming. So it's sitting in this middle area, which I think is a real sweet spot.
It is. It is a real sweet spot. Again, I've talked in the past about how Twilight Struggle was a game that is crying out for a reskin. I suspect that this game as well, the mechanics of this game, I hope that they don't only end up in the one game.
Well, Time of Legends, I mean, we were hopefully.
Leo said that during the interview, that it's Time of Legends is the brand.
Yeah.
And then whoever's name is after it is who they're doing.
There we go. Right.
Okay.
Kickstarters.
Yes.
Now, we have the guys from Steamforged Games to talk a bit about Resident Evil 2.
So we're going to take a look at the campaign.
Let's take a look at the campaign first.
As it currently stands as the point we're filming.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'll have a little look at...
16 days left at this point.
Yep.
Okay. So, Ben, do you want to talk us through it a bit?
Yeah, sure. So this is the Resident Evil 2 board game from Steamforged Games. It's for 1 to 4 players that can get involved as the survivors that you'll all know and love. So Claire Redfield, Leo, and all these kind of guys playing through. Sorry, not Leo, Leon. Playing through Resident Evil 2 in a whole bunch of different scenarios, trying to survive against the odds and obviously the aftermath of the Umbrella Corporation incident. They've made it really simple and easy to get stuck into the game with the Kickstarter. There's just one simple core pledge. You get the main board game. There's also a B-Files expansion set tied into this as well. You'll also get a Kickstarter exclusive Leon alternative model, and then all of the stretch goals that get unlocked as well at the same time. When it comes to stretch goals, they've been doing some really cool stuff. So they've got some alternative different costumes. They've got new monsters and stuff thrown into the mix. So plenty of zombies and other sort of strange scientific experiments from the Umbrella Corporation. But the game's looking really fantastic so far. One of the big things for me, there's sort of like a little bit of a selling point for this, was the way that they've got this sort of threat deck, or the tension deck as I call it, thrown into the mix. And this is the kind of thing that makes sort of exploration a little bit more dangerous than you'd normally think. Because obviously one of the big things about Resident Evil is that whenever you're sort of traversing the different levels, you're going to be really low on ammo, you're going to be really low on supplies. And this tension deck means that every time you walk into a new room, something terrible could happen. So there's always this interesting thing of, when I go through that door, do I go and save Leon in the next room as Claire, or do I leave him behind and try and go and do and complete the objective and stuff? Because I don't want to set the tension deck up and like unleash more zombies, or something bad will happen, like an explosion or something at the same time. So yeah, it's a really cool and interesting sort of faithful recreation of Resident Evil 2 on the tabletop, and I'm sure it'll go much further as well. So.
Now you also got to play it.
I did. I'm very happy. Only the second time that it's going to have been filmed, and we will be putting that out next week for you guys all to see how we got on. It was great to have the guys over, and as Ben said, the faithful representation of the game, unbelievable. Like, they've actually done such an incredible job of realizing every single part. The tension deck is only part of it. The movement, how you interact with the doors, how you close off, run away, and actually decide when and how you're going to fight against zombies. The ammunition management and how you're going to decide when you're going to fire bullets, how many bullets you're going to fire, if you want to reload your clip and waste those last 2 bullets that were in the clip before it, because if you reload and you've got 2 bullets left, they're going away, they're gone, you're saying goodbye to them. But you've only got so many actions every turn, there's only so many tension cards, and once you work through the tension deck, if that's gone, you lose. So it's hectic in a fantastically just exciting and thematic way.
Yeah.
And already, from looking at the Kickstarter there, they've hit all the stretch goals currently on the Kickstarter as it stands right now. I think they're just below the £500,000 mark as we're filming. But we actually know already what the stretch goals are about to be further as they look to expand the game beyond. So
we'll let you sit down with the guys from Steamforged and let's find out what they are.
Okay, everyone, so we've just seen how well the Resident Evil 2, the board game Kickstarter, is currently doing, but I'm now incredibly thankful to be joined by Sherwin, lead developer of the game. You're very, very welcome. And he's going to give us an exclusive first preview of the stretch goals that are essentially about to get added, so we can keep on rolling with momentum.
Fantastic.
We have a whole bunch of them to show. Now, we are going to show them just behind their lock symbols, because again, they're still not achieved at this stage. But I'm fingers crossed, I don't think you're going to have a problem.
We seem to be going fairly strong at the moment. So yeah. Touch wood, we're going to be good.
Touch wood. I'm very, very, very hopeful. We have recorded a playthrough that you guys are going to be able to see later on next week, so you can see how we got on here in the Beast of War studio when we tried to take on the scenario that you saw also the Steamforged guys doing on their live stream. It was... I keep coming back to the word tense, and then I feel bad because it's a tension deck, but it's the most appropriate name I think I can think of.
Yeah, that's exactly what we had when we were trying to think of the name for the thing. It's just what it was.
It just suits it absolutely perfectly, so it was tense. You guys can watch that and see what you thought of it. So, we obviously have seen the Resident Evil 2 board game logo, and we've seen what we're going to get in the box. So anyone that's not familiar, this is essentially the Resident Evil 2 board game with a display of what the map looks like with basically the minis you get in the core set. Is that right?
It is. Just worth mentioning, that's a layout from the map. So every single time we have different scenario, they'll have unique layouts, as we will see from the demo we've done. Obviously, each scenario has different specific layouts depending on what location they're in, that sort of stuff. All the tiles are different shapes. So that's not the gaming board.
Nice.
It's just a gaming board.
And do you know roughly how many scenarios you are planning for initially?
So in the core game, we're looking at 8 at present. These are all, obviously, this is still under development in a few ways. And then there's obviously, as part of the campaign pledge, as you see there, we've got the B-Files expansion, which is another 7. There's already a couple of add-ons as well, which will add more scenarios to that.
Wow, so 8 in the core, 7 in the expansions, 15 now. That's pretty awesome, actually.
Well, each scenario takes a little bit of time to play through. It also depends on each individual scenario, but you're looking at a good, I'd say, probably 90 minutes or so per scenario. I know our demo even yesterday was...
It wasn't short, but it was a good length.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to give anything away that'll lead everyone at home to know how that went. So you're going to get tons of hours of gameplay, easily 2 dozen, 3 dozen hours of gameplay out of just the box.
Yes,
cool.
Exactly.
So before we start hitting stretch goals then, so we've already hit over 500,000
Yep.
So that's currently where, as of today, that's where the stretch goals are up to. So now going past that, I'll show off our first.
Cool.
So if you want to run me through, oh, here they come. Crawling zombies!
So one thing we're doing for the zombies is we're doing a great amount of Kickstarter exclusive sculpts for all the different zombies in the game. Because Resident Evil 2 has a plethora of fantastic looking zombie, the original game, has a plethora of fantastic looking zombie skins. And we're doing, as a special thank you to our Kickstarter backers, we're recreating pretty much all of those so that way they can get them. Because obviously these won't be available at retail.
And will these interact any differently in terms of the game, or are these just different sculpts?
So they're different cosmetic sculpts. One thing we don't necessarily want to do is kind of have people who buy this at retail feel they're missing out on exclusive content in terms of actual rules, that sort of stuff. But obviously each scenario has different ways of making enemies react, as we've seen in our playthrough.
Yes.
There's already things that mean that zombies will suddenly pick up new rules or become more dangerous or whatever else. So these guys will also be affected by them. The great thing you can do with these guys is you can look at customizing further or creating better immersion to the actual area of the game you've got. Because obviously if you've got lots of lab zombies, for example, and you're playing one of the underground laboratory missions, then obviously you can just populate it with those guys for greater immersion, so you don't have to worry about the odd sort of cop zombie who looks a bit out of place there, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And if any budding painters out there who'd really like to get into the set and paint it up, it's going to give you a bit of flexibility as well. You're going to have more variety in your tabletop, and matching it to your setting, I think it's something that not everyone may think about initially, but then when you get into those scenarios and think, oh, this isn't quite fitting, this is going to give you that flexibility.
The whole game's about immersion.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Exactly with the tension deck. So
perfect. Cool. Okay, on to the next one then. So that's at 15,000 over 500,000.
I think we're getting a good way towards that as well, which is good.
So at 530,000, we have an Alt Leon sculpt.
So Leon is one of our main protagonists of the game. He's one of the playable characters. So what Resident Evil 2 did originally was pretty cool. Once you played it through and completed it, you got access to a couple of unique outfit costumes you could get for your characters. Two for Leon and one for Claire. This is the last one of those that we're unlocking during the campaign. We've already done the first one you get as a Kickstarter exclusive as part of your core pledge, which is Leon's costume, and Claire's one is currently a social media goal, which I think we're well on our way to unlocking. So this is the last one that people will see.
So if you have backed it, make sure you're on, I think that was Twitter, Facebook, Instagram?
Facebook, Board Game Geek. I don't know about Instagram, but it's the other one is back.
So make sure you're going and liking and sharing. Find that on the Steamforged Facebook page. We'll stick a wee link below so you can see that and get that, because you might as well. If you're just going to share it and you're already back in the game, you might as well get yourself an extra stretch goal for
get more people talking about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you start with different gear with this model? Like when you're playing the game and you unlock that costume, does he start with a shotgun, or is it just a visual?
No, it's a visual thing. We wanted to give a cool kind of image to him where he's not just simply the same Leon holding a pistol and so on. It also gives us an ability to put in the modified custom shotgun, which you haven't necessarily seen on any of the other models.
Yes, and next week you'll see our playthrough and you see the versatility of the different weapons. So things like the pistols to the shotguns, and also talking about things like what's going to come in the future with flamethrowers and special weapons. They change the game completely, and picking when and how to use those is a huge component of it. So I love seeing that incorporated into the minis as well. Okay, let's head on to 545,000 stretch goal then.
So this is our second Ivy sculpt, and if you're not familiar with Ivy, it's a giant plant. It's the best thing to do. It's quite a sinister one. It attacks you with vines and so on. So this is our second one that we'll be having into the game, which allows players obviously to encounter these in the underground laboratory areas.
And is this going to mean you could potentially... Would it be in the setting to encounter two of them, or is Ivy just a unique character?
Absolutely. No, they're not unique in the sense that you could encounter just one as a boss or as a character, a named character. You can encounter multiple, so the more of these we have, obviously, the more likely you are to...
See, the Dungeon Master in me is already starting to make up scenarios. It's like, oh, so you've completed the box, you've completed all the B files, now I'm going to start making some stuff as well, because why not? Why not make up your own tension deck and give it to your players and say, tonight... things are getting brutal.
Sure. I mean, it's a very unique enemy. It's one of the more static ones, but what's pretty cool about these guys, even when you kill them, just like the game, they can still, their corpse can still attack you from the floor. It'll still snag you as you go past all those vines, which is pretty cool.
I mean, you say pretty cool.
It's pretty cool for me from a design perspective to try and build that. Whether it's pretty cool for someone who's on low health, danger status, trying to get past
run out of a room,
thing. It's I mean, the other thing that's cool about these guys is that they can turn up as poison ivies.
Okay.
When you're playing in some of the other scenarios, where effectively they've got much more, they can actually poison you with their attacks as well as as well as just standardising doing damage.
Okay, so if you want to get a bit creative, if you fancy painting it, you could potentially do one IV as kind of traditional,
One
and then
traditional
one as
kind of
more...
greens and the other one's purples and reds to make it a bit more exciting.
Love it. Fantastic. All right, up to 560,000 then. If we reach that goal, what have we got? Zombie Brad.
We've been asked by him for quite a lot of people in the back because they're really excited about seeing Brad. So Brad is the guy who how you get access to those outfits we mentioned earlier for Leon. He's a special celebrity zombie. It's the best way of describing him. Who turns up once you finish the game. Yeah. In our game, he'll be a mini boss.
Oh.
So this is a mini boss unlock.
I do apologise that so much of Mini Brad is hidden behind the padlock, but of course you need to get it up to the 560 before you can have that. We can give exclusives, but we can't, open the door until
most of the cult fans will recognise him anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I don't. It's a very Brad as a character. Like, I must admit, I don't know Resident Evil 2 that well. So, is there any particular reason he's so kind of shambly and kind of closed off compared to a normal?
Well, he's only a zombie. They're not necessarily worried about having the best sort of poise. But I think he meets a very untimely demise at the hands of Nemesis, and
okay.
I'm not sure he's probably a bit broken up inside by this point.
Okay, that's probably a nice way of putting it. So 575,000. What do we have? Ooh. Oh,
so this is our giant spider.
Yeah.
This is our giant spider. So this is the second giant spider sculpt we'll see. Much like the Ivy, so it allows us obviously to put more of those in the game.
Yeah. And how big are these actually going to be on the player board?
Our squares are current development anyway is 40 by 40.
Yeah.
So this is on a 40 by 20 base. So this is more like a traditional sort of cavalry base kind of size model.
Okay.
So it's quite big compared to a standard character.
But could you get 2 of these in a single space?
You could. Well, that's probably bad when that happens, but if these guys, you kind of either want to kill them or get past them one way and never go back. That's how it works. I mean, they, again, like the Ivy, can poison you, which is obviously not so good. Otherwise, they're quite resilient, and they'll spit at you from a distance, so they're kind of a ranged beast. Yeah,
I'm not. Wait, hold on. Ranged?
Yeah, they shoot back.
We didn't have any of that in our playthrough. That's a little terrifying. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I like that. That completely threw me, actually. Because I was like, actually, when you think about Resident Evil, you think about the playthrough yesterday, it was tense enough just being able to dodge away and know that if I can make a couple of extra spaces, I'm essentially free, and I should be able to now keep that distance. The thought of being tangled, okay, not the worst, not the best, might come at a bad time. The thought of then just being like, nope, you have to deal with us. We're going to sit here and just pelt you with poison until you're free or until you're out of the room. That's much worse. I'm not a fan of that at all.
And again, hope they don't learn how to open doors and follow you.
I remember in Resident Evil 1 when the snake comes down through the chimney and through the ceiling and it starts following you from room to room. And I remember that moment just being like, it's not allowed to do that. It's not allowed to follow you from room. I've learned rules for 5 hours of gameplay that said when I open and close a door, I am now safe.
Yawn can't follow me through that fireplace.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, you can. All right, okay. I really like the sculpt. I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. I don't want to see it. I'm kind of glad its face is covered.
Well, you can actually look at the original sculpt if you want to see what a giant example of what giant spiders look like. This is our second one, so there is one already there.
Okay, right. So, final little exclusive teaser we have today.
This one definitely exclusive because on some of these people will have an idea what's there, but this one is definitely for you guys. This is Annette Birking. So she's one of our, she's kind of a bad guy character, I guess, in Resident Evil 2, but you actually get to use her as a player character in our adaptation.
Oh, okay.
And you, obviously, straight away I can say that she'll probably have some unique synergy or some, she'll be able to play well with her daughter, Sherry, who's another character we've already unlocked. So yeah, I know people have mentioned her as well in the backing, so we're looking forward to releasing this one.
Oh, you can't give me any hints about her abilities, is that all we're going to get from you? No. Oh, I tried. All I could do was try. Okay, now, so these are all the future unlock stretch goals that we have right now. However, there's a couple of other treats you've brought in to share with us.
Yeah.
That I am.
These are the fan favorites.
These are, so love them or hate them, whether whether you know the game or you don't. So in my case, I'm not a big Resident Evil 2 guy. I played Resident Evil 1 a lot. I'm more familiar with it. Sure, when we know you're a huge Resident Evil 2 guy. Love or hate them, I still think both of these are absolutely epic. So who is this?
Well, this is Hunk. He's one of the Umbrella operatives sent to retrieve the G-Virus from Mr. Birkin. That doesn't quite go so well, as people who know the game will know. But certainly this is the guy. He's a big fan favourite. He's He's pretty cool. He generally goes through most of the zombies and the various different things attacking him on his own to escape. He's the fourth survivor.
And we have the fourth survivor actually in the studio to show you guys off just a sample of what it's. Is this pretty close to what the final product's going to be?
Yeah, it's obviously everything's work in progress, I'll say. But this is we're very happy with this model. So hopefully, if there are changes, not too many to see.
He is very compared to the kind of Raccoon City PD or compared to kind of the stars. Yes. The units. He's much more hardcore looking.
Yeah, he's very sort of military based, isn't he? He's obviously the machine gun.
And is it like a submachine gun he's equipped with?
Yeah, it's. I mean, obviously he'll have different weapons he can access, just like all of the other characters. But he's holding the submachine gun from the game. Yes.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah, I like him a lot. And so, essentially, when you wanted to get him in the game, what did you have to do to unlock him?
Well, at the moment he's not available at the thing. He's a forthcoming one.
Oh,
we're going to see.
All right. Okay.
Now, in terms of in the game, he presents some challenges because he's a lot tougher than the other characters. Built by the fact that the full survivor scenario where he turns up it's a real gauntlet. It's one you have to go through. So his rules are going to reflect that he's a bit tougher than the others, a bit more robust, and obviously because he's had special training, he's going to kill a lot of enemies. Then you can expect some special rules to allow him to do that properly.
Awesome.
But he's nowhere near as cool as the other model we're going to show off.
Now this
is going to break you.
I'm going to try and compose myself for this final model. Do you want to give it before I show this one off? Do you want to give a little bit of context just before you give the name or anything about where this character's origin started?
Yeah, it's so. This rectangular beast is the best way of describing it. So I know from Capcom's perspective, this was something which I don't know from them whether it started out as a joke or it's something which is a great idea they had, but they wanted to create something based on their collision damage system they had when they were first making the game, and this is the result of it. Now in the game, you encounter him when you get to the fourth survivor scenario again, although he's an unlock within an unlock. For that.
Okay.
You have to finish the game through several times over, an A ranking to be able to unlock him.
Several A rankings over and over again?
So you have to try hard to get this guy.
And this guy, if you want to give us his name,
is Tofu.
It's the first time Sherwin showed me this. I had to Google it. I had to work out what this is exactly, but this is their collision box, essentially.
With a groove in it.
With a groove in it. So it now looks like a piece of tofu with a hand and a knife.
Pretty much. It's tofu. Obviously, it's non-canon in the sense that I don't think Tofu's an actual character in Raccoon City, but
he's in the game.
Oh, he's in the game, absolutely. He's an unlock, and people are pretty excited about seeing him.
And this is probably like one of the most, if not the most, honest to the kind of original source material board games I've ever played. It's like playing the game with cardboard, essentially, is I guess the way I can put it. So the fact that you've gone this far to put this extra element in to pay homage to everything is fantastic. And Sherwin brought us in probably the most fun miniature I've ever put under camera. Here he is. Here is Tofu. Sherwin, I don't know what to say. The sculptor must have worked for weeks.
We had serious conversations about making Tofu. And comically, we even, at first, it's such a small thing. The attention to detail we gave to Tofu is originally the sculptor gave him his knife in his left hand, which we needed to change because Tofu's never seen holding the knife in his left hand, only in this right. We had to work to get Tofu right, to get perfect.
And do you know what? I think Tofu, I mean, just to show you, the scale, he's a fully fledged.
Yeah, he's fully to scale to what he should be.
Yeah, and is he going to be an enemy, a playable character?
Oh, he's a playable character. He's a playable character, so you'll be able to use these guys.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. Because you could have left it out. You could have it's probably not needed. I don't think anyone's going to go, oh, I'm going to now buy this game. There's a Tofu in the box. But it adds...
Like all good Resident Evil fans, the first models I think I got really excited about doing when we started this project was these two.
See, and I think that's as a lead developer, I think that's why you're perfect for this. Because you're excited about the thing that takes 4 perfect runs through the game to actually get to.
Yeah.
And I think that comes across perfectly when playing it.
That's good.
Okay, well look, thank you so much, Sherwin, for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and sharing all this stuff with us. So if you want to back the Kickstarter, if you think this is going to interest you, or even if you're still on the fence, you can watch our Let's Play through next week, or you can click the link in the show notes for the Weekender and actually follow through the Kickstarter and check it out yourselves. I'm very excited about it and looking forward to it. So we're going to have a quick break then and then cut back to the guys in the studio.
Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsun Hub on beastsofwar.com. Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com.
So seriously, like, can you believe that they're actually putting tofu into the game? So you've seen it all in the interview, but the fact that they're going back and saying if you complete the game this many times on the hardest difficulty, you can unlock an extra character and get one of these samples of what was basically, I know this is new to you, but essentially it's over your head. But whenever they first designed the game, they used this block to basically represent collision as players and characters and zombies bumped into each other. Yeah. And they basically decided we're going to put that block in as like an unlockable character. And actually, it looks a bit like a bit of tofu. If we take a little bit of it away, it actually looks like a piece of tofu.
Yeah,
and they're now making it, they give it, basically it's tofu with a shiv and a knife and a punch, and that's all it is. And they're now putting that into the stretch goals, essentially starting from next week, I believe. We've got the, as I say, we've got the exclusive on it. You guys heard all the details. It's a Resident Evil 2 fans' wet dream, for want of a better term.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It was the thing I loved whenever they did their demos at Gen Con. You remember the old demo disc that came out in a magazine whenever the game was about to come out? Their demo games there were that scenario from the demo disc.
Mm-hmm. Oh, were they?
Onto the tabletop, yeah.
Oh.
Now that I thought was such a nice touch.
And
love a bit of retro.
If you actually, hold on a second, let me see if I can bring it back up here very quickly. One of the things they're doing as part of the Kickstarter as well is releasing a retro pack. Here we go. If you want to bring that back up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So this is the retro pack there, and essentially, if you want to pay the extra bit, you're going to get all the old art from the game itself. All the cards are going to look exactly like the original game, which I think is absolutely epic. And the guys actually told me when they were here, they said some people love it and some people hate it. Because there's some of the cards, when you flip them over, you got the characters on one side, and on the other side of the card, you actually have the old art.
Yeah.
And they've put that on some of the characters already, like Claire Redfield. You can see what she originally looked like. And apparently they've had a 50-50 split. Some people have said, that's amazing, do more of that, that's so cool. And other people have said, why are you doing that? That looks awful. Why? But it doesn't look awful, it's retro. Yes. And I like that. Having that extra option in the Kickstarter for me means you can literally play the game on the tabletop. This is one of the most faithful game adaptations. I mean, we've seen many, as we talked about earlier in the
Dark
show.
Souls.
But you know, and Halo, and obviously we talked about Fallout earlier on as well. But this, as a proper, real adaptation of the game in cardboard, is the best I think I've ever seen.
Cool.
There we go. Right.
We've still got another Kickstarter project.
Minotaurs, Justin.
Many Minotaurs.
Minotaurs.
Yes.
Love them.
Mini-tours or Minotaurs?
Minotaurs.
Okay.
What do you know about Minotaurs?
I believe it's one of the Greek tragedies, isn't it? One of the labors of Hercules was to go into the labyrinth and actually defeat the Minotaur.
Yep. Do you know how it was made?
Some form of incense, Rodney.
No,
only fools and horses.
No, there was no incense. Okay, there might have been incense because it was the Greeks that did it. They might have burned incense. I don't know. There was a lady and a bow. And the lady and the bow.
Okay.
Right, and then it gave birth. Who gave birth? Was it? Oh, it would have been the lady. The lady gave birth. Yeah,
that's how biology works.
To the Minotaur. Okay.
Yes.
And then the Minotaur, the lady was a queen.
Yes.
All right. Which meant that she had a husband.
Yes. Who was the king?
Who wasn't the bull. This was another husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Who was the king. And then the king built a labyrinth and stuck the Minotaur down it. And the Minotaur lived down in the labyrinth.
Yeah. And people who displeased the king got chucked down into it. Yeah.
The king got chucked down into
it? No, people who displeased the king.
Okay, all right. Sorry, people who displeased the king. Yes.
You're hearing.
So we've got a Kickstarter called... I'm just making sure that we're all up to speed on our cryptozoology here, okay? So it's...
I know some stuff.
So this is the Twisting Catacombs, okay? Minotaur Horde. Let's get a look at this one. Ben, tell me all about it.
Yeah, sure. So this is by Zealot Miniatures, who you'll know have done some amazing sculpts in the past for sort of dungeon scenery and all sorts of different things like that. But this is them showing off their Minotaur horde. It was actually Theseus who went into the labyrinth to go and hunt down the
Of course it
Minotaur.
was.
But anyway,
yes.
I will carry on. But yes, so they are doing a set of different Minotaurs for you to use in your games, be they dungeon crawlers or they could be mass battle games as well, indeed. And they've got a whole bunch of different ones here. Champions, warriors, standard bearers, musicians, and all sorts. And as things move on throughout the campaign as well, they're also going to be working on some female Minotaurs as well. So if you like the idea of mixing things up, they've got some of those.
They would be Femitors, wouldn't they?
Femitors, I guess.
Yeah, Femitors. Yeah. That's the zoological name for them, man.
Oh, they've got some adventurers
in there too.
Oh,
They've got adventurers as well.
Nice.
Yeah, so what would a Twisting Catacomb be without some adventurers? So they've also got those in for a little bit of a smaller pledge level. So if you don't like the idea of pledging for some of the big Minotaurs, maybe you don't have enough cash at the moment or whatever, you can go for some of the smaller pledge levels and pick up some of the heroes instead. A lot of people have been saying that it seems almost inevitable now that Zealot Miniatures are probably going to do some kind of hero questy style game, which would be pretty awesome.
We're looking at Villagers Prison. Oh, God.
It's awesome.
Okay.
There's your spear female Minotaur.
Nice. Look, there it is.
There's your Minotaur under boob. Hold on.
Yeah.
I will say, the one thing that's jumping into my head for this Kickstarter is just do a custom Kings of War army with them. Ogre army with Minotaurs.
Look at every sculpt. Nice. Right, I saw a message coming in from Zealot Miniatures, okay? And I think it said something along the lines of, "Hey guys, and would you like us to send some of your Minotaurs?"
Yes.
Justin, when someone asks you if you want a Minotaur, you say yes.
Warren.
What?
Warren.
Paint it. Oh,
Warren.
Look at it.
Nice.
Oh, just look at it.
It's glorious. Oh, that's different.
So yeah, one of the big things for me that I really liked about these is that obviously I've been diving a little bit into Age of Sigmar, and I really like the idea of doing something with the Beast Claw Raiders and doing something Beastman sort of style for Chaos and things, to throw it in with the demons.
Ben,
so these would be
for the zoological among us, it's pronounced Beast Man.
Beastman.
No, Ben, just one more go, nice. Beast Man.
Beast Man.
That's it, Sexy Furious. Now you've got it.
A little lacking in desire on the men.
Oh, what a fun.
Yeah, cool.
The guys at Zealot.
Yeah. Okay, so Zealot, what's left to be said? Them miniatures just blew me away. Unbelievable. Fantastic. 12 days to go. If you can turn that into some sort of dungeon crawler thing, boom. Yeah. Head blown. Right. Join us tomorrow. We have a whole other show. I've got stuff to tell you, man.
My head.
I've got stuff to tell you. It's
I've got
important.
some Hobbit to show off.
Yeah, we're done here. Yeah. Thank you very much to Ben, Az, and Justin, and most importantly, thank you to you guys. Remember, take that 7-day free trial. Come over, have some crack with us tomorrow morning. It'll be good fun. We'll see you then. Right, guys, have a great week of gaming. Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastsofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming let's plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.